Good evening, dear friends. So, today we will talk about a very important structure of class 10th. जैसा कि आप सभी बोर्ड एग्ज़ाम के लिए प्रिपेयर कर रहे हैं और बोर्ड एग्ज़ाम बहुत जल्दी ही आने वाले हैं, तो आपके पास काफ़ी कम समय है प्रिपरेशन के लिए। तो मैं कुछ आपके साथ रिवीजन टिप्स शेयर करूंगा आज। और रिवीजन टिप्स शेयर करने से पहले आपके लिए दो पंक्तियाँ। सफलता का कोई मंत्र नहीं, सफलता का कोई मंत्र नहीं, ये तो परिश्रम का फल है। देयर इज़ नो मंत्रा फॉर सक्सेस, इट इज़ जस्ट अ फ्रूट ऑफ हार्ड वर्क। सो स्टार्ट डूइंग हार्ड वर्क एंड डेफिनेटली you will get the fruit of success. So as we know that class 10th examination, it is of 80 marks, and you can see here the whole structure. Chemistry is of 25 marks, biology is of 25 marks, physics is of 25 marks, and 5 marks is for a chapter which we know, our environment. That is also very important. You can see this is the sample paper, science sample paper, which is given by CBSE, and we know that it has 39 questions. You have to attempt 39 questions, 5 sections, and times will be given 3 hours. Maximum marks are 80. There will be 16 simple MCQ, 4 assertion reason question, then you will get 2 marks question, 3 marks questions, then 5 marks questions, and also case based studies question also. There are some important topics of chemistry when we talk about chemistry: chemical reaction and equations, balancing the chemical equations, type of chemical reactions. So you have to learn about all these things in detail. Corrosion. In acid base salt, chemical properties of acid, bases, pH value, salts, metal and non-metal, chemical properties of metal. I will discuss later on the topics also that are most important from the board point of view. Carbon and its compound, entire chapter is very important. Then we talk about biology. You know that life processes: nutrition, respiration, transportation and excretion, control and coordination. This is nervous system is important. Hormones in plants and animals is important. In how do organisms reproduce, mode of reproduction used by organisms, sexual reproductions, heredity, sex determination in human being is also very important. Our environment, food chain, food web, these are also very important. When we talk about physics, that is also light is very important chapter, and the whole chapter is very important. In human eye and colorful world, you can see there are defects of vision like myopia, hypermetropia, presbyopia. All these questions can be asked. Then refraction through a glass prism, dispersion of the light, atmospheric refraction, scattering of lights. So you have to learn all the phenomena which are given in natural phenomenon, which is given in your book, like twinkling of stars, formation of rainbows, why the sky appears blue. Electricity, then again entire chapter, magnetic effect of current, magnetic field lines. Then solenoid is also very important. Force on current carrying conductor, Fleming left hand rule, right hand rule. All these questions, domestic electric circuit, we need to learn. There are some important questions which are most probably they are asked in examination. Like with the help of a neat level diagram, you can show how the amoeba capture its food, or what is the mode of nutrition in amoeba. So you can see this is a very simple diagram. You can draw and holozoic nutrition. Then there are some questions which have been asked in the previous year papers, like draw a neat diagram of excretory system of human beings. Name any 3 glands associated with digestion. So you have to talk about here salivary glands. You can write gastric gland. You can talk about pancreas, liver. Bile juice does not contain any enzyme, but it is important for digestion. Describe the structure and functioning of nephron. Draw a label diagram of human heart. Define double circulation, why it is necessary. So you have to talk here systemic circulation, pulmonary circulation. It is important to meet the energy requirement, how arteries and veins are different, that you can write. Tropic movement, there are different kind of tropic movement like phototropism, geotropism, you can mention here. What will happen if intake of iodine in our diet is low? So you can write about we will suffer from a disease which is called goiter. Similarly, there is a very important question, the diagram of neuron and a synapse. Then there are some questions which are based on hormones, very simple. They can be asked in your examination. Then how do organisms reproduce? Name the male and female gametes in animals. So we know that male gametes in humans are sperms and female gametes are ovum. What is fertilization? Fusion of male and female gamete. Where does it take place in human female? So we know that fallopian tube. Name an organism which reproduce by spore formation. You can talk about here bread mold rhizopus. What is the importance of variation? Variation are important for the survival of the individual, or they are actually essential for the survival of the species. They are not mainly essential for the survival of the individual, but they are essential for the continuity of species. Different methods of contraception. What is vegetative propagation? Budding in yeast. Male reproductive system, female reproductive system. Define reproduction. Pollination, you know that self and cross. What is double fertilization? Binary fission in amoeba. Monohybrid and dihybrid cross. Sex determination in human beings. What are different trophic levels? So you know that producers are at first trophic level, consumers are at second trophic level, and so on. Differentiate between biodegradable and non-biodegradable waste, you know that. Why is the length of food chain is limited? That is due to energy, because energy is keep on decreasing from one trophic level to another trophic level. Why ozone is important? You know that O3 is ozone, which is present in stratosphere, which is very important for protecting us from harmful UV rays. So this is another very important question. But let me tell you, my dear student, these questions are only suggestive and they are based on some previous year papers. You have to read each and every line of the chapter, that is very important. But these are some important questions that you cannot miss. आपको ये टॉपिक्स को तो बहुत ध्यान से पढ़ना ही है, इसके अलावा बाकी जितनी भी बुक में चीज़ें हैं वो सभी को ध्यान से पढ़ना है. बट दीज आर द इम्पॉर्टेंट वन, वी कैन से दैट. In chemistry, when we talk about in first chapter, I have mentioned different type of reactions like combination, decomposition, displacement, double displacement. And when we talk about decomposition reaction, you have to talk about what is thermal decomposition. Then there is a decomposition which is through sunlight, you have to mention. And when we talk about decomposition, for example, ferrous sulfate crystal, they are green in color. When you heat them, what will happen? This is very important question. Oxidation and reduction, you have to talk about redox reaction, where oxidation takes place and reduction both. Endothermic, where heat is absorbed. Exothermic, where heat is released. Reactivity of acid and base with metal, that is another very important questions. How do these acids react with metal carbonate and metal hydrogen carbonates? You have to learn that which gas carbon dioxide is produced. How you can check the presence of carbon dioxide gas? You have to pass it carbon dioxide gas through the lime water, it turns milky. Then you have to talk about the formula of bleaching powder, baking soda, washing soda, plaster of Paris. You know that calcium sulfate, hemihydrate, CaSO4 half H2O, that is very important question. Precaution for diluting the acid, so there are very important, this is very important point, that we need to add acid into water slowly. What are covalent compounds? You have to mention what are covalent compounds that are formed by sharing of electrons between two elements. And ionic compounds are formed by the transfer of electron. And similarly, from carbon compound, there is another important questions, why carbon is not forming C4 plus and C4 minus. There are some other questions that a compound X is formed by the reaction of carboxylic acid and alcohol. So you have to write this question also. You have to write the structure of carboxylic acid, alcohol and compound X, and chemical reaction also. In physics, we will talk about light. So light, laws of reflection, refractive index, Less formula, mirror formula. These are the important points which are there in syllabus. Human eye, I have already mentioned, defect of vision, applications of spherical mirrors and lenses. Electricity, you have to focus on electric current. There are some definition, 1 ampere, 1 ohm, 1 volt. You have to mention that, you have to learn that. Ohm's law is very important. You can learn it like V. V is directly proportional to I. Resistance and resistivity, you have to talk about on what factor does resistance of a material will depend. So we can talk about here length of the wire, area of cross section and the material. Then similarly resistivity, series, resistance in series, when we connect together, what will be the equivalent resistance? When we connect them in parallel, what will be the equivalent resistance? Electric power is another important question. There are some numerical which can be asked in your examination related to resistance. Magnetic effect of current, very important question. Magnetic field line, why do the magnetic field line does not intersect with each other? Electromagnetic induction, Fleming left hand rule, alternating current. These are some suggestive topic we need to learn. Like that, I have mentioned some question. List 4 property of image formed by concave mirror. When object is placed between focus and the pole of the mirror. 4 characteristics of image formed by plane mirrors. I have mentioned again it. The image of a candle flame placed at a distance of 45 centimeters from a spherical lens is formed on a screen placed at a distance of 90 centimeters. Identify the type of lens and calculate the focal length. If the height of the flame is 2 centimeters, find the height of the image. So you have to find out here. We are talking about, we have to use here lens formula. Similarly, the question can be asked related to mirror formula. Power of a lens you have to talk about. Power is the reciprocal of the focal length. Then SI unit of power of lens, you know that diopter. Concave, convex lens of focal length, this is again a numerical. What is power of accommodation? The power of human eye to adjust its focal length. State the function each of the following: cornea, iris, pupil. List 2 cause of hypermetropia. You have to write about. You have to learn hypermetropia as well as myopia. Draw the ray diagram of a hypermetropic eye, its correction. Why do star twinkles? You have to talk about that refractive index of the atmosphere keep on changing, the atmospheric condition keep on changing. So light which is coming to our eyes, the star sometimes appears lighter, sometimes fainter, so it gives a twinkling effect. Why is the color of the sky is blue? So Rayleigh effect you have to talk about here, the scattering of the light. All these questions are very important from examination point of view. Similarly, from resistance, you can see here how the resistance are connected in series and how they are connected in parallel. These kind of questions can be asked. What is magnetic field? Write their properties. State how the magnetic field produced by a straight current carrying conductor at a point depends on. So we know that this B is directly proportional to I. What is solenoid? You have to talk about solenoid. Mention and explain the function of an earth wire. You know that there is a green color wire which is there in our home. What is the function of that green wire? Management during the exam. So we know that the first part we should focus 30 minutes we should use for that. For 1 marks question as well as assertion reason question, half an hour. Then 20 marks for 6 questions that they are of 2 marks. Then for 3 marks you have to spend 30 minutes. Then for another 5 marks question there will be 3 questions, so you have to focus here for 40 minutes, and then case study base also 40 minutes, and 20 minutes times will be for revision. तो ये मेरी आपसे एक तरह से सजेशन है कि जब भी आप पेपर करें तो टाइम मैनेजमेंट का बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट ध्यान रखें. द फर्स्ट 15 मिनट्स आर वेरी क्रूशियल. जस्ट गो थ्रू द पेपर एंड ट्राई टू फाइंड आउट हाउ यू आर गोइंग टू अटेम्प्ट इट. एंड ये सबसे बढ़िया तरीका होता है कि हम सीरीज़ में ही जिस तरह से पेपर दिया गया है वैसे ही अटैम्प्ट करें. 1 से जो 20 तक है सीधा उसमें नंबरिंग डाल लें अपने क्वेश्चन पेपर में. जो जो क्वेश्चन आपको आते हैं उनको पहले कर लें, जो नहीं आते उनको क्रॉस लगा के रख दें, बाद में समय मिलने पर उसको सोच के करें. Then skip on to the section B and C and D and E like that. And my dear friends, advanced preparation sample papers, as you know that they are very important, because generally we know we have studied lot, but when the question comes we get confused. तो क्वेश्चन किस तरह से पेपर में आने वाला है उसके लिए सैम्पल पेपर हमें एक बहुत अच्छा आइडिया देने वाले हैं. लेकिन सैम्पल पेपर शुरुआत में ही नहीं करेंगे, उससे हमारा कॉन्फिडेंस थोड़ा लो होता है. जब हम चैप्टर को अच्छे से पढ़ लेंगे उसके बाद हम सैम्पल पेपर पे जाएंगे. ग्रुप स्टडी करने की कोशिश करें. अगर आपको कोई ऑनलाइन रिसोर्स अच्छा लगता है उस पर भी आप जा सकते हैं, उसके लिए कोई मनाही नहीं है, लेकिन उसका एक प्रॉपर यूज़ होना चाहिए. बहुत ज़्यादा उस पर डिपेंडेंट नहीं रहना है. बुक्स ही आपकी सबसे अच्छी दोस्त हैं. और टीचर्स का साथ मत छोड़िए, टीचर्स के आगे पीछे रहिए. और वेन एवर यू हैव एनी डाउट आस्क योर टीचर एंड क्लेरिफाई दैट इज़ द मंत्र ऑफ सक्सेस. तो मैंने आपको पहले भी कहा था कि जीतने वाले कुछ अलग काम नहीं करते हैं. जीतने वाले उसी काम को करते हैं जो हम लोग भी करते हैं, बाकी सब भी करते हैं, लेकिन उस काम को वो अलग तरीके से करते हैं. तो आपको भी ये काम जो स्टडी की प्रिपरेशन है बहुत ही अलग तरीके से करनी है. और एक आप जानते ही हैं, गॉड हेल्प दोज हु हेल्प्स देमसेल्व्स. सो बेस्ट ऑफ लक फॉर योर एग्जामिनेशन माय डियर स्टूडेंट्स. फ्रॉम पुनीत कुमार, PGT बायोलॉजी. केंद्रीय विद्यालय मासिमपुर सिलचर रीजन. Thank you so much.